Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. Big news today. I kind of talked a little bit about it coming, and I really did, like in the morning, that WarnerMedia-Discovery merger, all that. What does it mean for Warner Brothers, for DC Films, for the Snyderverse? Let's talk a little bit more about that. But first, of course, we have to get into thanking the new members of the Ping Pong Flix Show. Thank you to Anthony Ramos for joining as a new member of the Ping Pong Flix Show. I truly appreciate it. And also thank you for Farzid Ali for rejoining as a continued supporter, and everybody else as well. So thank you very much for supporting the channel. So, John Boyega set to reunite with Joe Cornish for Attack the Block 2. Now, I just wanted to point this out because I love Attack the Block. That's the first time, I think that's the first time John Boyega, you actually see John Boyega. And just watching that, I loved it. So, it's interesting that, he's going back to Attack the Block and they're going to make a part 2. But that's pretty awesome. So I'm really looking forward to Attack the Block 2, seeing what that's going to come out as. As a genre film, a fan. That's one of the best movies. Like it's almost, I wouldn't say like Shaun of the Dead, but it's very like that type of movie. And it's very independent-ish and badass. He was really badass in that with the sword and everything, so it was really cool. So I'm looking forward to Attack the Block 2, and I like John Boyega as well. Zack Snyder apparently wrote a 300 sequel called Blood and Ashes during the pandemic. This is via the playlist. Now this is cool because just the other day I was like, I wanted to see another 300. I wanted to see the finale because it never ended, right? They need to kill Xerxes. Like what happens next? Well, this is what Zack Snyder told Playlist. He said this: I just couldn't really get my teeth into it. Over the pandemic, I had to deal with Warner Brothers, and I wrote that was essentially going to be the final chapter in 300, said Snyder. But when I sat down to write it, I actually wrote a different movie. I was writing this thing about Alexander the Great, and it just turned into a movie about the relationship between Hephaestion, I can't say that, and Alexander. It turned out to be a love story, so it really didn't fit in as the third movie. He added, but there was that concept, and it came out really great. It's called Blood and Ashes, and it's a beautiful love story, really, with warfare. I would love to do it. Warner Brothers said no. They're not a huge fans of mine. It is what it is. So it actually is not the final chapter in 300. So I think there may still be a final chapter in 300 somewhere in the works, I would think, because that is a sort of a mini Snyderverse that I would love to see continue. I would love to see the end to that trilogy. Imagine the 300 trilogy. But I would also love to see that movie, and an Alexander the Great movie from Zack Snyder. That'd be pretty interesting. And so I'm wondering if Warner Brothers said no at that time, and probably still say no because they don't want to work with him for some reason, that maybe Netflix will pick it up. Maybe it's one of those properties that Army of the Dead they can buy, just like Army of the Dead. Maybe they can buy that property, and make Netflix do it. I think that would be pretty sweet. So I would love to see that happening from Zack Snyder. Absolutely. Both of them. 300 finale and that movie. Speaking of Zack Snyder, he was over in New York City, I think today or yesterday by the time you probably see this, for the Army of the Dead premiere over there, and the moderated and hosted by none other than Grace Randolph right here. That's awesome. So they had some Q&A sessions and stuff. Fans got to meet him, take pictures and stuff like that. So that was really awesome. It was very lively in some of the videos I was watching, and that was great. That's great to see. People are very excited for the Army of the Dead over there, and a lot of theaters as well. It's doing well. It was saying that it's one of the best Netflix to movie theaters they've ever had. This is one of the biggest, right? In fact, maybe even the biggest. So that's great to hear. It did roll out in 600 theaters, which is not as much as a regular studios would, because regular studios would try to pull out to 4,000 theaters, right? But at 600 theaters, it did pretty good. But a lot of it's going to come out on streaming because it's actually going to come out this weekend. So if you haven't had time to watch or don't have one in your theaters, and you have Netflix, this weekend, Army of the Dead. Check that out this whole entire weekend. It's an absolutely awesome movie, by the way. Just to reiterate that in any case. Zack Snyder posted this on Vero as we get into DC now. You can't see it, but it says who did this because it's awesome, or who made this because it's awesome. This was actually made by the Trinity, awesome fan artist. Make some great work, and here's Wayne T. Carr as John Stewart, Green Lantern. So that's absolutely amazing. That's really awesome, and hopefully, this could mean that maybe one day we could restore the Snyderverse and actually get this Green Lantern scene out and see Justice League 2 with Green Lantern in it, John Stewart's Green Lantern in it. So I thought that was kind of cool they posted that. So now that we're into DC, I'm going to say his name wrong. Jamon Hanso will reprise his role as the wizard in Shazam, Fury of the Gods, so he will return as that. Understandably, he died in the first one, so I don't know if this will be a prequel, like, seeing the history of him. There's just little snippets of him or whatnot. We'll have to wait and see when we've watched Shazam, Fury of the Gods. It's a little bit slow today, but J.J. Abrams apparently has no plans to direct any DC films. He is producing, Justice League Dark, and the Bad Robot Productions involved with like Zatanna, Constantine, and Justice League Dark, and also the new Black Superman written by Ta-Nehisi Coates, but JG has no plans to direct any DC films. In fact, he's wanting to direct original ideas, if he was going to direct, which almost feels like very Zack Snyder. Let's stay away from IPs for now. Let's go back to making original content, which I think would be really cool because, like I said the other day, there's no baggage when you make an original idea. Of course, there is no baggage instead of adopting an IP, right? So I think it may be because of Rise of Skywalker, I think he's going to take a step back and says, I'm not going to have any IP right now. No, nothing with IP. I may be producing things that it has a giant IP like, Black Superman and Justice League Dark, Zatanna, and Constantine. But right now, he wants to get back. No Star Trek, no Star Wars, just kind of go back to making films, and I think that's cool. I actually like that, and I can't wait to see what type of movies he's going to be making for himself. As we go on, let's get into AT&T's WarnerMedia-Discovery Incorporated creating a standalone company and combining operations to form a new global leader in entertainment. So here we go. This is the biggest news that was dropped today. It's massive on every scale, in entertainment business, probably in what all, basically entertainment business and stuff like that, but also in shareholders and stocks and business. There's a lot of things going on with this, right? But I'm not here. Essentially, this show is not here to tell you too much about the numbers, the economy, or whatever, right? What I'm going to do, instead of telling you how much they bought, I could, but essentially you probably heard it by now, and what does it matter? What I'm here to do is to compile all this information, what I've got to read, compile all this information, and give context in relation to Warner Brother Films, Warner Brother Movies, HBO Max, DC Films, Snyderverse, so I'm going to try to compile this in a sense that is interesting to those topics, in those topics, right? So they made a big thing. AT&T, now I thought it was like AT&T bought Discovery, but no, actually what it is AT&T sold off Warner Media, essentially, shareholder stock on a basic level. They just, here's part of Warner, here's Warner Media to Discovery. You go and work it out, make it happen, make it successful, right? And who are they putting in charge of this new company formed by molding Warner Media and Discovery together? Is this guy, Discovery CEO from Discovery, David Zaslav, is heading this whole new Warner Media Discovery relationship, right? So this dude is the main man right here. Now, understandably, it was like AT&T's John Stankey. He was texting with AT&T's John Stankey back and forth, and it seems like they got a call over the weekend, and they were like talking to each other, and he was like saying, you know what, John Stankey's bro, you know what, I don't think it's really that hot right now. HBO Max, I don't know how to get it off the ground. What do I do? Comes in David and is like, look, I can probably get your HBO Max from 100 million subscribers to 400 million subscribers. I can take it up, all the way up, and just for a measly amount. And so they went through the negotiations and how much he owns, how much AT&T owns, how much shareholder owns, stuff like that. But largely, this is the guy to make all the decisions from now on in terms of Warner Media and Discovery. So Warner Media and Discovery put together to form a new company. What is it going to be called? We don't know yet. The name of it is going to be, of the combined venture, it will be announced in the next week or two. It could be called Warner Discovery Max, Warner Discovery, Discover Warner Brothers. I don't know yet. So it's going to be a new streaming service. So instead of Discovery Plus, which was a streaming service, and HBO Max, which is another streaming service, they're going to combine those two into one thing. It's almost like cable, right? There's going to be multiple plans, and then you're going to get to pay $10 to see all these different channels. That's what's happening here. You're going to have one price for both channels, including all that content within it, right? So that's the whole gist of it. But in any case, who is this guy, though? There are a few quotes that I pulled out, which was really interesting, that gave me kind of like newfound hope in a way for possibly original content, which the Snyderverse is. Snyderverse is original content. He said this: "We think together the combination makes us the best media company in the world. The combined company will spend $20 billion on content. $20 billion on content. Will be one company, one culture, one mission, great stories, great content that entertains people in every country around the world." Now, $20 billion on original content, or on content, right? $20 billion. Netflix spent $17 billion last year. $17 billion. They're going to spend $3 more billion than Netflix. And look how much Netflix is putting out. The amount that you're spending on content here, that means you are greenlighting things left and right, just like Netflix. Netflix is like, just, we want content, we just gotta put it and throw content on. Greenlight, 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 greenlight. That's the kind of mentality that they needed. Just like Netflix. Greenlight them. Slam. Just fill the streaming platform with content. Content. And this guy is all in on that. He's got to put money. He's going to put money where his mouth is, I think. He's made it successful with Discovery and a whole bunch of, you can go and search up David Zaslav and see his entire history, but he's there to build. He's there to build it, right? And he said that his number one priority will be building relationships with the creative community. He wants to build relationships with the creatives, the directors, the artists, the actors, the cast, whatever. And he plans to spend time in Los Angeles, New York, and anywhere else that talent is based. He's going to look for talent. He wants the talent to come to us, to Discovery, to Warner Media Discovery. He doesn't want them to go away. He understands the situation that happened with the same day premiere. It really pissed off Christopher Nolan, Denis Villeneuve. It pissed off a lot of people. A lot of people are like, I don't want to work for that. Legendary, whatever. He's looking for them to be, make a difference, make them trust them once again. He's trying to get people to come back, saying the talent will discover us. Will come to us because we have got the goods here. We have got the trust issue all put down. We've got everything here. We've done it all. We have the means to be a successful streaming service, to be a successful company, and to have faith. Have faith in our artists and directors and stuff like that, so that you trust us, so that you want to seek us, right? Just like how filmmakers are seeking Netflix right now, just like how Zack Snyder was like, well, I didn't like working with Warner Brothers, but I love working with Netflix because they were supportive, they were a great partnership and everything like that. Well, they want to be that. Warner Media Discovery deal David Zaslav wants to be that type of company. So that's awesome. Now, a little bit about him. Just a little bit about him more. Just to give you a feeling of what type of person he is, potentially what type of person he is, and is there a lot of that hope for the Snyderverse or DC Films or whatever from now on. Understandably, this whole thing is bigger than any of this DC stuff, Snyderverse stuff. But like I said, I'm only bringing all this to context with relation to what we talk about every day. Okay, the focus will be on talking to everybody at Discovery and everybody at Warner Media, and we will be trying to figure out how to get the best people to stay. This is the part about a company taking over another company, right? So AT&T sold off Warner Media, essentially sold off Warner Media-Discovery. Discovery, this dude right here, David Zaslav, is taking over it. He may not like people at Warner Brothers. He may not, because honestly, like if you're an exec for a company that you trusted, built it, and you love these guys, they listen to you. Would you keep? Would you keep execs that you've put together your own and created your own platform? Or would you like throw away your own execs and try to take over this one who don't even know you that much? The answer is he'll try to keep his own. So there's going to be another change in the guard, was essentially what I want to say. There's going to be people leaving or getting laid off on the Warner Brothers side. That's definitely going to happen. It's not going to happen that quickly because this deal is going to, is not going to end until the end of 2021. So it's going to be finalized till then. So there's always that overlap. And a lot of these cases, you won't ever even, there's going to be some layoffs here and there. It's going to be really quick and make it in a more positive light. They don't want to make it look like they're losing people all the time. It's going to be a slower process, but it's still going to be a process, right? It's still going to be a process. But maybe a little bit quicker, because when you read this Variety article, it says here, during his 15 years in counting at Discovery, Zaslav has earned a reputation for quick trigger finger with management changes and strategies for the company's bouquet of lifestyle and unscripted channels. So that's what he was on Discovery. But quick trigger finger with management changes. Quick trigger finger. If he doesn't like something, he's going to let him go. If he doesn't like something, he's going to do changes really that quickly. He doesn't just let it slide. He's really fast. So if there are certain cases where he sees a Warner Brothers and he doesn't like what's happening over there, he could change it just like that and says, hey, you take over there, you take over that. Let's go. Let's get it done. Which is kind of cool. If that happens, right? If that happens. But quick trigger. There will be changes. There absolutely will be changes. He's saying they're going to figure out who is the best people to stay. Best for them, right? Best for them, not best for the exec, best for the company. That's what we want. We want people that are working for the company, not working for themselves. We don't want ego-driven people. He wants people that works for the company, that has the company, the best of the company in mind, right? So that's awesome. I think that's great. And I see that as a really good chance to see this. To have a better Warner Brothers coming out of that, because he's in charge of Warner Media. Warner Media is in charge of Warner Brothers Films. This is the guy on top of everything, right? And I think he likes the IP. It's just Discovery. I don't know if he knows anything about the IP, but apparently, he knows a little bit about IP. So there's a little bit of hope for DC here, and I'll play this for you.
Media side, but that we're probably the best media company in the world with the greatest IP, the most iconic IP. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Sex and the City, Entourage, Game of Thrones. And this idea of a full-on global IP company and the ability to take 71% of the AT&T shareholder base and together really assure that Warner, together with Discovery, will be a really strong global force, but also that the vision for John and I was the number one telecommunications company in the world and the number one media company in the world. Media side, but that.
So interesting enough, he drops the first names he drops: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the Trinity. That's awesome. So definitely DC is right at the top. One of the top things in mind that he knows is important, and I love that. I wonder what has all those. What has Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman? Well, I don't know. Zack Snyder's Justice League, right? Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now this is their own slide on their own presentation with David on the left and John Stankey on the right. This is one of the slides. Compelling collection of personalities, franchises, IP, Discovery, and Warner Media. You see their largest library with 200,000 hours of video content, leading scripted and unscripted, 220 countries, blah, 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 blah. But look at that. Look at that. I didn't put that there. No, this is off from their own archives, because it's the slide that they showed. Zack Snyder's Justice League, right there, next to Harry Potter, Matrix, Lord of the Rings, Under Looney Tunes, Sex in the City, Game of Thrones. Honestly, when he said Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, I gotta think he's looking at this picture. Like, just look at that. That's awesome. So there are little elements that you're like, okay, I think he may be on the side of Snyderverse. Granted, like I said, it's very small and minuscule, I think, in terms of the broad look of these things. But the fact that they pointed out, even put that in their official slides as they're talking about this, right, gives me great hope. It does. I can't help it. It gives me great hope. And all I can do is be optimistic about this stuff. Honestly, all I can do is be optimistic about this stuff. And like I said, heads will roll. Heads will roll. And it looks like one of those heads is going to be Jason Kilar. The Warner Media chief is said to be negotiating his exit. Like right now, they say they're talking about, well, Jason Kilar is a great man. I love him and stuff like that. But hey, we can't have two chiefs. That won't be good for business. One streaming chief with another streaming chief, that's not good. One's got to go. There can be only one head. Sorry. That doesn't happen. Two people can't work together like that. The same role. Why? There's only one streaming service now. One must fall, So, Jason Kilar is going to be that guy. He's going to be let go first. Either let go or he's leading towards an exit. In fact, there was a email that he sent out to everybody, and it almost sounds like a goodbye letter when you read it. I'm not going to read it, but it almost sounds like a goodbye letter where it says, like, thank you for everyone. I learned from everybody and stuff like that. But, right now, business as usual. I've heard you heard and stuff like that. It does sound like he's saying goodbye. So... But I don't know. Was he ever, because we're talking about Snyderverse, was he ever actually liking the Snyderverse? Did he just push it because it was the next thing that was coming out? Because after that, it was completely silent. It was complete silence from it. Nothing was heard about the Snyderverse, or rather Zack Snyder's Justice League. Nothing. It was like completely, the fact that they put this out, John Stankey and David put this out today, makes me more hopeful than whatever Jason Kilar has talked about after the fact, right? I mean, I thought it was going to be good because he was like promoting and stuff, but that could have been just because it was the next thing on HBO Max. Who else could be leaving? So thanks to Alex Lobo, he pulled this clip out that I'll probably link it because it's 2 minutes, it's really long, but you can definitely check it out yourself. Toby Emmerich has taken one of the greatest Hollywood studios to one of the last places where talent wants to work. Basically, Toby Emmerich is going to be out the door. It's going to be gone. Jason Kilar as well. And those two will be gone. What does that mean for the other executives? And Sarnoff, Walter Hamada? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But there's definitely going to be a changing of the guard. There's definitely be a lot of changes coming in terms of this, right? So this man right here, what I'm seeing in a general summary, if you will, in terms of what this could potentially mean for what everybody's asking, well, what does this mean for Restore the Snyderverse? Nothing right now. It all depends on what this guy really thinks about that, right? It all depends. But I'm looking at three things, right? One, he's going to change the guard. Like, he is definitely going to change execs. That's absolutely going to happen. Two companies merging can't have the same roles when it's only one streaming service. It's not like he's going to say, well, HBO Max is going to continue and we're going to have our streaming service. They're merging. They're merging streaming services. There can only be one person for each role. So execs are going to change. So that's hope for that. Hopefully it's the right execs that are leaving. And the execs coming in are more, wanting a Snyderverse. So execs are changing. There's also how much they're going to spend on content. $20 billion, $3 billion more than Netflix. And we all know Netflix pushes content like crazy. They greenlight anything and everything, pretty much. They need content, and they're ready to pull that out. They're ready to do that. So that's absolutely two things that are right there. Third is the type of content. He absolutely knows the IP DC is very important, and not just any DC IP. I mean, he didn't put down Christopher Reeve's Superman here. Not that that's not cool, all the other stuff. He put there Zack Snyder's Justice League as part of Sopranos, Game of Thrones, Sex and the City, Harry Potter, Matrix, Lord of the Rings. He absolutely knows this is very key. So those are the three things that I see, right? And you can include all the, trying to get talents, have talent trust us, talent to come over. That absolutely goes with, like the Netflix thing where they're pushing and they really want talent to come over, creatives to come over to make their visions over on their side. They trust in them, they trust in their vision, and in reply, you'll get lots of content from these creators as well. So they absolutely need that. They need that content. They absolutely need it. It's probably also going to be, getting that trust back with the theaters. Something that Toby Emmerich, who was absolutely involved in getting that same day movie premiere thing on HBO Max and in movie theaters, right? Something that Christopher Nolan hated, absolutely hated, and a lot of movie directors and stuff hated, other production companies hated. So he needs to gain that trust back. So you can probably expect, going back to that, being in the movie theaters and then coming on a streaming service, which I think is a good thing. A lot of people at that time, I was like, oh no, this future is streaming and stuff like that. Yeah, true. But if that were the case all the time, just like how right now this year is same day movie premieres, Godzilla vs. Kong, Mortal Kombat, that's great. That's awesome for us because we get to see it in safety and whatever of our home. But it just takes away the, need for original content, right? If we got same day movie premieres, it's all scheduled up and coming over, then maybe we don't need as much original content. But if it's back into theaters and then on streaming after a 45-day window or whatever window, then the need and importance of original content is higher. And what is considered original content? The Snyderverse. That's original content. And I love it for the Snyderverse to be part of that $20 billion investment. And I feel like it's leaning towards there. I'm hoping it, but I just feel like it's leaning towards there again. So like I said, when AT&T took over Warner Brothers, that gave us the Snyder Cut. Now, maybe Warner Media merging with Discovery is going to give us the Snyderverse. Let's just wait and hope and see. But I feel a little bit more optimistic now. Like I said, I don't know. He may say, I don't even care about that. That could be true. But the chances of it happening now are greater than a month ago. Are much greater than a month ago with just Toby Emmerich, Hans Sarnoff, Walter Hamada, right? So let's see what happens. Let's keep an eye out. Let's hope for the best. Let's hope for the best. All right, let's get into the members' comments, questions. Bowl of Indomie, we need to send flowers, chocolate, teddy bear, greetings card, and what have you to David Zaslav. I know. Maybe there will be some directed efforts saying, hey, hi, David Zaslav, would you restore the Snyderverse? Could be. Kylar is actually passionate about filmmaking. There's a nice profile on him from a few days ago. I believe he cares. Make him Warner Brothers CEO. Yeah, I don't know if he cares, but he cares about movies. That's true because he visits the sets. He visits Warner Brothers. He seems like he cares about that. That's very much true. But like I said, there can only be one. You'll only be one for that. Will he move down to Warner Brothers? To move because he's over Hans Sarnoff. Will he move down to Hans Sarnoff's level? Does he move down to Toby Emmerich's level? I don't know. We don't know yet. But he's looking like he's negotiating for an exit because he'll get apparently a payout. According to Variety, Discovery CEO David Zaslav will be atop of the combined venture, and Kylar would be tasked to be leading the company's direct-to-consumer charge. The article goes on to say, Zaslav has a reputation as a strong-willed CEO who is known for turning over management teams and shifting strategic gears quickly when results are not to his liking. Let's hope he knows what Snyder can do for Warner Bros. And dislikes how he was treated. Yeah, that is the hope. Hopefully he's caught up to what's happening over there. Chris, this is the most exciting news since Zack Snyder's Justice League cut was announced to come out on HBO Max. I hope with this change that whoever they put in charge of the whole thing will consider to look at Zack Snyder's plan of Justice League and how passionate his fans are of his work. I hope they will greenlight Justice League 2 3, restore Snyderverse in their plan. If I was in charge, I would consider everything and what works and what doesn't as far as movie goes. I hope they will make smart business decisions if they want to make more money. Like I said, I'm excited as you are for this change. Let's cross our fingers that they will take a look at Zack's work and his plan as far as DC characters goes moving forward. I cannot wait. Let's pray and hope for the best. Restore Snyderverse. Yeah. Hi, Chris. Long time no read. I'm not on social media, so maybe you could ask Zack Snyder something for me. As you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League is running 242 minutes, including credits, but Zack confirmed multiple times on Vero that his Justice League would be running 4 hours without credits, so I'm really worried how much he had to cut out of his Snyder cut because Warner Bros. Didn't want him to put it in. Greetings from Bavaria, Florian. P.S. Next week, May 27th, we will get Zack Snyder's Justice League on DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K over here. Oh, 242 minutes. Is that the Blu-ray cut? I'm going to have to look at that. I bet I can beat Hawkman's ship in a race. I mean, I am pod racing champ of Tatooine, but in all seriousness, I can't wait to see Hawkman on the big screen. I think Aldous Hodge will kill it. Restore the Snyderverse. Zack Snyder should be your first topic, Chris, for F's sakes. And that's why I have chapter marks. Sorry, yes, I skipped to Zack Snyder's Justice League. No problem. That's why I put chapter markers on. So, a lot of folks have an issue with the fact that his Snake Eyes isn't blonde, white war veteran like he is in source material. The idea, I suppose, was to emphasize that he's a total fish out of water in the ninja life. I suppose it's not as much of an issue if the film establishes that he's an American who served in Afghanistan or Iraq, and he looks like he could be established as half Asian, half Caucasian if they wanted to. Regardless, I'm not super familiar with the source material. You know a lot more about this, Chris. Also, knowing is half the battle. I don't even know that much. I don't even know from the old cartoons, right? It's like he didn't talk, but apparently there's a big backstory. And, Henry Golding, I think he's part Caucasian with the last name Golding, but I could be wrong. Love how your boys have a certain on-screen dynamic. The one in front is more wacky and joking. The one in the back more collected and, hey, keep it professional, like the two heads in a buddy cop film. And the third one is just plain silly. Funny how your one son brought up how Black Widow is a lot like Batman. The reason how it should have ended vid about Iron Man 2 ends with Bruce and Natasha kicking off a very passionate relationship. When you think about it, they would be perfect together, wouldn't they? Loki wisecracks. I don't remember them saying, but okay. Loki wisecracks about space lizards, and Chris Moore Wacky Son brings some Godzilla to the vid in response. Well, he loves Godzilla, man. He does. I agree with E.T. Entertainment Today lady. It'd be better for Black Canary to be a series on HBO Max. She starts out in Gotham, interacting with other birds of prey, and with Batfleck. Then she moves on to a certain other city, where she encounters Oliver Queen for the first time. Season 1 finale, perhaps. Season 2 focusing on her way while developing a dynamic with Oliver. Yeah, let's just get the first series first, man. Black Canary. The female Furies, let it be. Sophia Boutella for Grail, Gina Carano for Big Berta, and somebody for Kara Zor-El. So Discovery, wow, you have a lot of comments today, man. So Discovery as the new Warner Max, the big merging ensures that Emmerich's days are numbered. Absolutely, he's looking for a new home. Wasn't a negotiation ploy at all. He's going, gone. And as you noted, the powers that be taking away his power and authority early on to ensure a smooth transition is getting very likely indeed. Plus, the post-merger company will be publicly traded, which means we know what to buy stock in. Yeah, it's gonna be. I don't know if they're going to create a new IPO now. I'm thinking about it. The THR article says something about Kylar staying around, and yet now we get reports he's in talks about an exit, or could he, in reality, be moving from the WarnerMedia leadership to the new one? Dare we hope he's still around? I don't know. But like of course, during mergers, especially when things are not settled until the end of the year, they have to keep people in place because they don't know the processes of working for that company. You know, you don't just come in. It's not like in the movies where you come in and says, you're all fired, and you have no idea what's going on. But unless David knows how to make it work and everything, then he can absolutely do that. And so Jason may not know that. He's not sure. So, looking for an exit is absolutely for all the execs would do that. But let's see what happens. I heard the Property Brothers will be in the Flash movie. Property Brothers? Another one, Chris. Is it possible that Snyder had a tip regarding this merger? All of a sudden, he's exposing Warner Brothers exec toxic management. He showed his Green Lantern. I guess yes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he knew about this. I think nobody in Hollywood knew about this. This was almost a private conversation between John Stankey and David over the weekend. So it seemed like nobody knew about this. I don't know if he did. Maybe he knew people around that kind of sniffed this out, possibly. But I think it's more Zack just comparing, because he's promoting Army of the Dead Netflix, and he's promoting that Army of the Dead is absolutely his vision, and Netflix is awesome. They do the. I think when he says Netflix is awesome, and he would just say in contrast to the other side. So I don't think it is regards to him knowing what's happening with this. I think it's just him promoting Netflix, comparing Warner Brothers to Netflix, and showing and pretty much telling the world in a way that, hey, Netflix is the better company. Netflix is going to absolutely do what you want. And they're a great partnership and everything like that. And judging from, how he loves and just the energy and everything and how happy he is with Army of the Dead and Netflix, it just seems like absolutely that's what the case he was trying to make. So I don't know if he knew about this or not. Certainly not everybody knew about, not even Hollywood knew about this, and they kind of just realized that maybe they won't have a job pretty soon, people in Hollywood. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. This is an interesting time. It definitely, for me, is more optimistic and hopeful for Snyderverse in the smallness of this whole situation, but it is a situation that we are most interested in, so I tried to give you context of it. Hopefully, you're feeling a little bit more hopeful for that. I certainly am. But still, let's cross all fingers and toes, and let's wait and see what happens next. All right. Well, like I said, if you absolutely love this daily dose of entertainment news and content, please click the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Keep this hot dog light on, and I'll see you next time.